So let's talk about, I didn't expect to talk about this, but let's talk about burnout as we go into World of Horror. I had to move past OBS for a second because I saw something, but as we see ITHOTU Scar's random item stats, we'll remember that as we talk about things, because boy, I mean, there are some nuances to talk about, but we'll get into the run first before we start the actual thing. Scars, right? Yeah, Scars. Why am I asking anyone is because I'm the only one recording here. It's on me to remember things, but as we get in, I feel like we've done this before. As we get into ITHOTU Scar's random item stats custom character. I hope it was ITHOTU, otherwise I'm gonna go crazy. But yeah, burnout. I wouldn't say I'm someone who is normally affected by burnout. Obviously, I have my limits as I have Takshisan, Dexterity, Knowledge, second, and Light check. We could go a Knowledge weapon. Well, Occult Shop time. But yeah, normally I don't feel like I experience burnout a lot. Maybe sometimes I don't, I walk away. So for example, in World of Horror, maybe I don't play World of Horror for a while. There was one point on this channel at least, you can see this on my channel, in which I stopped for a few months, but that was because of a personal situation. Essentially, I did move, essentially. Well, not essentially, I moved. So, that was, I was trying to take care of things and trying to make a change in my life, and that didn't work. So back to doing things online, let's just say. And as we see, actually get eels this time. Coma, Auteur, Colt, and Television. We'll pick up Kana and move on. Yeah, but aside from, basically you would have to pull me away due to strenuous circumstances. We'll use some big words, even though I probably used it wrong, as we get mind wiped here. Or yeah, no, that's really bad. Well, I mean, again, I have my limits, I guess. I mean, I don't want to be doing something for my entire life. No, that's not true. That's a lie. Because listen, I'm someone who's fine living on his own, alone, not bothering anyone. So, shrug. At least how I feel right now, because anything can change, right? As I have, did I have? Well, we do have a thingy-majiggy. I'll set mansion. I'm going crazy. Let's go to the occult shop as well, before I forget. Small candle. Oh, 2 damage small candle. I'm silently shaking my head. Now we have to look for something. Basically, the ritual dagger. And hope. Okay, well, 28% doom and a lot of pain, but we'll have to just deal. Funds, and then off we go. But, yeah, I don't really have, I guess, how do I call it? Oh, we did start with box cutters, but we'll save that for a worse time, because I thought I was going to go knowledge weapon. That didn't work out, but I didn't mean to do that either. I'm going crazy! Thankfully we have scars. Hopefully we hit all 3 of these. Flipping a coin. But yeah, I wouldn't have what people would call, I guess, ambition. I'm not looking to be really, really rich, although that's kind of true for most people, I believe, or a lot of good people. I would say like 45%. I don't want to live in a fancy mansion, you know, a 10-foot square apartment where I'm fed and well and pass from, you know, natural causes. I think it's enough of a life for me. At least, again, I'm talking about my life right now. If I start a family, I don't know, but this is only for me. Some people need something new after some amount of time. I'm just explaining my own circumstances. I usually don't need something new after a smaller amount of time. Again, basically my tolerance is a lot higher, but that doesn't mean I'm better or worse than anyone else. I'm just saying my own situation as we take 2 recent damage here. It'd be nice though. It'd be nice if I do something new, and obviously I do a few other things with my time, because doing one thing repeatedly, that would probably be not my limit. But again, I can't just play, say, we'll use World of Horror. I can't just play World of Horror day in, day out as hobby channel and writing and everything as part of my everything. So shrug. So at least game wise or hobby wise, I do other things, but I think that's pretty normal. But my tolerance, I think, is high. Why? You might ask why though, if you go the other way and say, well, Jordan, why do you think, at least, if you're asking me the question, are you much more tolerant? Well, it's pretty just because it sounds melodramatic to say, but video games pretty much saved my life in the way that they kept me sane, and in a way they kept me healthy, because, funny enough, staying indoors. Not that it's the best thing, and maybe it had some negative effects that were more severe than I thought, but I don't know. For the most part, yes, I did keep to myself mostly. tried to just continue playing video games and whatnot, and I think that was better for me. But at least it kept me sane, it kept me healthy through a lot of, as this video sounds a little dark, but well, I didn't mean it for it to be that way, but at least if you were entertained by my stories, yeah, they kept me out of dark places, essentially. I don't feel like I've ever really walked into a dark place mentally, but I've definitely been challenged, I guess I'll just say. Also, we don't have Auteur because we actually don't have 3 custom mysteries, so instead we have Sailors, which we'll save for last. We also have Coma. So we do have Seaside and we do have Hospital. Do we have Mansion? Probably not, so we'll take Cult now, we'll do Television after. But yes, this part of this video is, I'm not going to try to name drop anyone because this, I'm just, at least here I want to talk about conceptually the concept of Burnout and whatnot. So I think, again, at least my past experiences make me more tolerant to in just accepting things here and there. And again, it's a little dark, aside from, you know, praying to a donkey for my teeth, which is why I have an overbite, which I talked about before. But yeah, someone did recently talk about burnout, and I you know, I understand. I mean, or not understand. At least I can see where the logic is coming from. That's probably more accurate to say. But as for me specifically, if I were asked about burnout, again, video games were. I mean, this is true for a lot of people too, but video games can be a part of some people's lives, and they were a part of mine. But for me specifically, I can tell you that video gaming has certainly pulled me out of darker places. And that's part of the reason also why I want to be a game developer. So, I say wanna, I am a game developer right now, but the level of success that comes with that statement is usually expected to be a lot higher. Or the expectations of what I am receiving, whether it is, well, we'll just use the general terms, fame, fortune, so on and so forth, is probably a lot lower. But, hey. But nonetheless, I mean, again, it's not like my whole life is video gaming. I do have people around me that I care about and try to care for, so I do my best, and sometimes it's not enough, and sometimes it is enough. But we'll see. Again, I can't really speak on anyone else's opinion. By the way, did we lose Bat, by the way? Contaminated water, we did. Well, time to just drink from the bottle of water and move on with our lives. Yeah, we'll take Television now. I am just full autopiloting. All things considered, started the run with 25% Doom, entering the 3rd mystery with 38% Doom. I think I'm doing okay. Except when I fail a knowledge check, but hey, rolling an 8, right? So, anywho. And yeah, so... And not that being said, and we talk about the levels of skill, like, you can burn out because maybe... I mean, because I've seen this before. People burn out because they're like, oh, I can't progress in a game, or more specifically in a competitive scene, I seem to not be getting better. I'm not going to say that what I'm about to say is true, but what I am going to say is being bad at a game is good too, because if you're not trying to improve, if you reach so-called perfection, which I don't believe exists for most games, at least 75% of games, but yeah, there is still merit in being bad at a game, because at least for content's sake, there's something to see. Oh my goodness, my charisma. I should have leveled up here. I am autopiloting a bunch, but seeing someone improve is also an interesting thing, which is another smaller part of the reason why I move on to other games. You know, we'll name drop them because they're on my channel. Frostpunk 2, Against the Storm, now Uma Musume, now that I'm coming back to it ever since it got a global server. Things like that, just seeing how someone improves, I think can make part of content. But also, you want to see someone, if they're getting better, or maybe they never get better, that I can see that as a type of content. Now, how the longevity of such content can be a topic of debate, but for the most part, I would believe, if I were to put my foot on one of two sides, I would say, we'll take Fast Learner. I would say you would normally want to see someone improve. You want to see some kind of change in someone's, for lack of better word, skill level. That's not the phrase I want to use, but I'm trying to focus on not getting oofed by this boss here. So, -1 all due to scars, even though we have a ITHOTU, but we also have Kana with us, I'm pretty sure. So we just gamble here, 80%. And again, I think I've mentioned this before, funny enough, but there are times in which I go through something in a video game, and I'm like, oh, I wish I recorded that, because that would have been great. Not always just content, but it would have been great to share with other people, if nothing else. But I mean, you've heard me talk about this many times recently. I'll be good on recording in terms of, like, if I don't catch something that I'm doing off recording, like when I'm training a horse girl, when I'm playing World of Horror run randomly, when I am playing any other game and I go, oh, maybe I should have turned this into a trying to play or something. I don't believe I need to normally worry about it. Would have been nice to capture something interesting, sure. But if I believe in myself so much, at least in this way, I shouldn't need to worry because next time I record, something interesting will happen anyway. Even if it may not be as interesting as some people believe, because at least, if nothing else, it's interesting to me. But I think that's also an ability of the content creator, both to control burnout, if we were to go back for a moment, but also to point out things in a way, not in a way that makes them interesting, but what am I trying to say here? Point out things and make the video interesting, or stream, or whatever you decide to... Whatever you are doing, at least in terms of content creation on the internet. By the way, these are, 2 stamina minus 2 doom, so I'll do that. But yeah, would it be nice to catch something very interesting just on its own? Sure, but it's not my priority. And oddly enough, to mention it in a way, not catching something can cause someone to burn out as well. What I mean by that is like, oh, well, if this... In the way of RNG, at least, something that has a low chance of very, 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 very low, like, say, 0.01%, whether it's unlucky or lucky, that I know that can bum some people out. But for me, it's not... Partly because of what I just mentioned, interesting thing. I believe interesting things will happen to me regardless of whether or not I'm recording or not. Or... again, it's up to me to figure out how to make things interesting, basically. But that's a whole different topic. We're branching off into a different topic in terms of making interesting content rather than burnout. But obviously, I think there's 2 things. I mean, you can try to persuade me otherwise, and maybe you will successfully persuade me otherwise. But I think burnout and the ability to be, I guess, innovative, being creative, I think are 2 things that are tied together. By the way, I think we just take the reason here and move on with life. So yeah, would it be nice to see more content from me? Sure, but also, I mean, there are physical limits. Like even right now, I am having trouble. I would like to continue just putting content on this channel, but at the same time, real life exists, which means I do need to be able to feed the people around me, provide for the people around me, pay whatever I have to pay in money's worth around me. So I did have 2 custom mysteries. But anywho. Well, I guess someone will let me know if I do that wrong, but yeah, because of that, I have to look for other things. But if there are things that I can resonate with, or that I can do and not feel too much stressed by, then I won't feel as much burnout, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So, I mean, I feel like that should be obvious. If it's something you enjoy doing, you will not be burnt out as much. As odd as that may sound, as I roll an 11 on my high knowledge check, but... so what I mean by that is, yes, the flip side of that, I think, is a very true statement as well. That happens more often than not. So I would say like 50%, in that you can burn yourself out on something and come to hate it. I won't deny that. But at least for me, I feel like for a lot of other people too, there are a lot more people than a few. So again, 30-40% if I were to give a number, that can enjoy doing something for much longer than before burning out, I guess, so to say. And I'm not saying either is wrong or one is worse than the other. I'm just saying that at least I personally feel that it's harder for me to burn out on things. Now, at a certain point in time, there are nuances to this, so it's like, well, Jordan, you talked about how World of War is not hard to record, and that it's very convenient, and that, maybe you're just in your comfort zone as we get slapped for a lot of stamina here. And that is true to some extent, but even at this point, I mean, and I've explained myself as well, that's why we need to get rid of things for sailors here. Now I forgot what I was going to say. It was something I've said before, but we do have the torch, so we do need to toss it, because otherwise we'll lose the run. But as we get our last key at 68% Doom, yeah, again, I'm not as affected by... I forgot what I was going to say. It would have been a great way to kind of end the topic. But, anywho, I think we just walk up this tower. Like, literally just walk up with this level up. And we have 8 knowledge, so I wouldn't need to worry as much anyway, but yeah, we just do this. I can even throw the torch if I so choose, but hey, everything's turning up good. But yeah, rewinding for a bit and kind of trying to wrap this up in a bow tie as the video is ending, being conscious of the video about to end. I do believe that, why do I do this to myself? I forget what I was going to say literally seconds before, but I mean, not much else to say. If there's anything you want to question me about on this topic, feel free to do so. If you want to point out some nuances, feel free to do so as well. Otherwise, I won't take up much more of your time. Support me if you want to. Leave a comment. Do things what you want, whatever you want, and I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye!